The camera opens on a mountain buried in darkness. Long before kings, temples, churches, or nations had names, a cold wind moves across the summit of Mount Hermon. And there, standing beneath a sky filled with silent stars, are 200 angels. They were called the Watchers, beings appointed to observe the world God had made, to guard creation from a distance, to remain in the place heaven had assigned them. But on this night, their eyes turn downward. They look upon the daughters of men, and something forbidden awakens inside them. Desire becomes thought. Thought becomes agreement. Agreement becomes an oath. Their leader, Simjaza, knows the price will be terrible, so he asks the others to swear with him, to bind themselves together under a curse, and then they descend. Heaven crosses a line it was never meant to cross. From that moment, the world before the flood begins to change. The Watchers take wives. Their children become giants. The earth fills with violence, blood, forbidden knowledge, and cries that rise all the way to the throne of God. This is the story Genesis only whispers. This is the mystery most people were never taught. And this is the book that explains what happened before the waters came. It was read by ancient believers, quoted in the New Testament, preserved by Ethiopia, and forgotten by much of the Western world. Tonight, we open the forbidden scripture. Tonight, Enoch speaks, before Noah built the ark, before the first raindrop fell, before the old world was swallowed by judgment, there was a man named Enoch. Genesis gives him only one mysterious sentence. Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. Most people hear that verse and imagine a holy man disappearing into heaven. And then the story ends. But the book of Enoch says the story did not end there. It says the man God took became a witness beyond the veil, a scribe of heaven, a human being allowed to see what kings, priests, and prophets would spend centuries trying to understand. Enoch saw the prison of the fallen angels. He heard the judgment spoken over the Watchers. He walked through the hidden chambers of creation, where the winds, stars, seasons, and souls of men are held until their appointed time. He saw the throne of glory. He saw the righteous vindicated. He saw the wicked exposed, and he wrote it down. That is what makes Enoch so terrifying and so important. He is not simply a character in an ancient genealogy. He is the seventh from Adam, the father of Methuselah, the great-grandfather of Noah, the man standing between the beginning of humanity and the destruction of the world before the flood. He does not carry a sword. He does not command an army. He carries a vision, and in his hands, the written word becomes a testimony against angels, kings, and every soul that believes its secrets will remain hidden forever. The story now returns to the mountain, to the place where heaven's rebellion touched the earth. Mount Hermon rises like a dark throne above the ancient world, its peak wrapped in cold mist, its stones silent beneath the feet of 200 watchers. Their leader, Simjaza, stands before them, not as a fool, but as one who understands the weight of what they are about to do. He knows this is not a small sin. He knows they are preparing to abandon their appointed place, to take what was never given to them, to step into human life with heavenly power and corrupted desire. So he speaks with fear in his voice. He tells the others that if they do not join him, he alone will carry the punishment, and that is when the oath is made. Honor be honor. The Watchers bind themselves together under a curse. No one will turn back. No one will stand innocent. No one will leave Simjaza to fall alone. Then they descend from the mountain into the world of men. They take wives. They cross the boundary between heaven and flesh. And from those forbidden unions come the Nephilim, giants of terrifying strength, beings born from rebellion, hunger, and violence. They consume, they destroy, and they fill the earth with blood. Genesis mentions them only briefly, like a shadow passing across the page. But the book of Enoch opens that shadow and shows what was hidden inside. The flood was not just rain, it was judgment against a world that had been broken from above and corrupted from within. But the watchers did not only corrupt the earth through their children, they corrupted it through knowledge. Among them, one name stands darker than the rest: Azazel. He was not content to simply descend, he became a teacher of forbidden things, opening doors mankind was not ready to walk through. He showed men how to make swords, knives, shields, and breastplates. Before Azazel, violence had hands. After Azazel, violence had weapons. Before Azazel, men could hate. After Azazel, they could build entire systems of war. He taught them how to dig metals from the earth, how to shape them, polish them, and turn creation itself into instruments of power. But his lessons did not stop with war. The book of Enoch says he also taught ornaments, cosmetics, the painting of the eyes, and the arts of seduction and deception. Other watchers taught charms, root cuttings, astrology, sorcery, and the reading of signs for control instead of worship. This is one of the most disturbing warnings in the entire book. Knowledge without righteousness becomes corruption. Power without holiness becomes destruction. Secrets placed in sinful hands do not make humanity divine, they make humanity dangerous. And as the forbidden arts spread, the earth changed. Blood soaked the ground. The giants devoured. The innocent cried out. And those cries rose higher than the mountains, higher than the stars, until they reached the throne of God. And God answered. The cries of the earth did not vanish into silence. The blood in the ground was not forgotten. The suffering of mankind rose before the Lord of spirits, and heaven moved. Raphael was sent first, and his command was terrifying. Bind Azazel hand and foot. Cast him into darkness. Bury him beneath jagged stones in the wilderness, and let him remain there until the day of final judgment. The one who taught mankind to forge weapons was now powerless. The one who taught the painting of the eyes was covered, so he could no longer see the light. Then Gabriel was sent against the giants, the children of the watchers, the violent ones who had devoured the earth. Their strength would become their curse. They would turn against one another until the corrupted bloodline destroyed itself. Then Michael was sent against Semjaza and the rest of the fallen host. The watchers who abandoned heaven would be chained beneath the earth, held for generations, waiting for the judgment that cannot be escaped. But before their sentence was complete, the fallen angels made one desperate request. They came to Enoch, not as rulers, not as mighty beings, but as condemned spirits begging a man of dust to speak for them. They asked him to write their petition and carry it before God. Enoch did. He stood before the throne, and the answer came back like thunder. There would be no return. They had crossed the line, and the line would not move. Then the vision rises higher than the mountain, higher than the prison of the watchers, higher than the floodwaters waiting beneath the future. Enoch is carried into the secret places of heaven, and there he sees a throne surrounded by glory, fire, and countless holy ones. This is no earthly court. No king can bribe this judge. No empire can survive this light. Before the Lord of spirits stands a mysterious figure, one who looks like a man, yet belongs to heaven before the foundations of the world. He is called the elect one. He is called the righteous one. He is called the Son of Man. Long before Jesus stands before the high priest, and declares that the Son of Man will be seated at the right hand of power. Enoch sees this heavenly figure already enthroned in judgment. The kings of the earth tremble before him. The mighty lose their crowns. The hidden sins of rulers are dragged into the open. But for the righteous, this vision is not terror. It is hope. The poor who were crushed, the faithful who were mocked, the innocent who were forgotten by men are remembered before God. The Son of Man does not come to entertain the world. He comes to reveal it. Every secret is uncovered. Every throne is tested. Every kingdom is weighed. And in the light of heaven's darkest mystery, only righteousness remains standing. After the throne vision, Enoch is taken into a different kind of mystery. Not the mystery of fallen angels, not the mystery of giants, not the mystery of judgment, but the mystery of time itself. The angel Uriel becomes his guide, and Enoch is shown the hidden order behind the heavens. He sees the paths of the sun, the gates of the east and west, the movements of the moon, the courses of the stars, the wind, the season, and the appointed rhythms that hold creation together. In this vision, the universe is not random. The sky is not empty. The heavens move like a sacred clock, obeying the command of the one who made them. Every sunrise has an appointed gate. Every season has a measure. Every star has a path. Time itself becomes a form of worship, because creation keeps the order that mankind so often breaks. But then Enoch is shown something darker. In the days of sinners, the order of the world begins to shake. The years seem shortened. The seasons arrive out of place. The rain is held back. The earth no longer gives its fruit as it should. Whether you read this as prophecy, symbolism, or ancient cosmology, the warning is impossible to ignore. Sin does not stay hidden inside the human heart. It spreads outward. It disorders families, kingdoms, worship, and even the way people understand time. Enoch is not teaching men to worship the stars. He is revealing that the stars already worship God through obedience. And if the heavens know their appointed path, then mankind has no excuse for abandoning righteousness. Then Enoch is shown one of the most cinematic visions in the entire ancient world. The history of mankind told through animals. He sees a white bull rise from the earth, and that bull is Adam. Beside him appears a heifer, and from them come two calves, one dark and one red. The dark one rises against the red one, and the first murder stains creation. Cain kills Abel, and the earth learns the sound of innocent blood. But the vision does not stop there. The righteous line continues. Noah appears as a white bull, preserved through the flood. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob follow. And then the chosen family becomes a flock of sheep. Israel is now the flock of God. But around them gather wild beasts, wolves, lions, eagles, vultures, and predators from every side. These beasts represent nations, empires, and powers that rise against God's people. Then shepherds are appointed to guard the flock, but many of them fail. They do not protect the sheep. They abuse them. They allow more destruction than heaven commanded, and above it all, a heavenly scribe writes everything down. Every wound, every betrayal, every leader who used authority to feed himself instead of protecting the flock. This is the terrifying message of Enoch. Power is never unrecorded, but the vision ends with hope. A final judgment comes. The false shepherds fall. The beasts are defeated. A new house is built, and then the wild animals are transformed. The enemies become part of the restored creation. The story that began with blood ends with healing. And the Lord of the sheep rejoices over one renewed family. After the visions of angels, stars, thrones, beasts, and judgment, Enoch's voice comes back down to earth. And suddenly the mystery becomes painfully personal. He is no longer only describing the secrets of heaven, he is speaking directly to the people who thought their sins were safely hidden behind wealth, power, and reputation. Woe to those who build their houses with sin. Woe to those who gather silver and gold through unrighteousness. Woe to those who crush the righteous, twist the truth, and use the poor as stones beneath their feet. Enoch does not condemn wealth simply because it exists. Abraham was rich. Job was rich. Many righteous people held possessions. But Enoch condemns the kind of wealth that is soaked in injustice. The money earned by stolen wages, broken promises, false contracts, and silent cruelty. He sees men building beautiful homes on the suffering of others, wearing fine garments while the hungry cry outside their gates, speaking religious words while their hearts are full of violence. And Enoch says, their riches will not save them. Their gold will not speak for them. Their silver will not open heaven's door. The same God who watched the watchers descend also watches every hidden deal, every lie, every hand that takes more than it gives. The books of heaven are not impressed by status. The throne of God cannot be bribed. And when judgment comes, the powerful, who thought they owned the earth, will discover they were only tenants. And the landlord has returned. But the final mystery is not only what Enoch saw. It is how his book survived. In much of Western Christianity, first Enoch slowly disappeared from the Bible. People held in their hands. Councils debated the canon. Scholars questioned the text. Centuries passed. And in the West, the book became a shadow, known by fragments, rumors, and quotations, but it was never truly lost. Far from Rome, far from the libraries of Europe, an ancient African church kept reading it. The Ethiopian Tewahedo Church preserved the Book of Enoch in Ge'ez, copied it by hand, guarded it in monasteries, and treated it as part of a wider sacred library. While the West forgot, Ethiopia remembered. And when the full book finally returned to Western attention, it came through the hands of the very church that had protected it for generations. That is why this story matters. The Book of Enoch is not just about fallen angels, forbidden knowledge, and judgment. It is about memory. It is about the books people tried to ignore and the faithful hands that refused to let them die. It asks a question every believer must face. What if there are parts of the ancient story we stopped reading too soon? Enoch walked with God. Enoch saw the heaven. Enoch wrote what he saw. And now the forbidden scripture is open again.